Welcome back to the Front Stretch, fueled by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Get yourself some fast-paced white-knuckle racing 7 days a week. More information online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. We've got a great interview with race director of Shelby County Speedway. Kenny, welcome to the show, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Kenny, tell us a little bit of some of the changes that Shelby County has gone through in the off-season.
Well, this season, they revamped the pit shack in the infield, and all your concessions and everything are going to be in there. It's all going to be inside. It's going to be like a walk-through buffet setup, so I'm told, just to make it more user-friendly and everything. And another big change they made is they hired me as the race director.
Tell us about Kenny Hansen. Who is he, and how did the race director position, come to you?
Well, I've been racing, for the last 6 years. I started out in a hobby stock, had a lot of success in a hobby stock, and I moved to a stock car 2 years ago and won quite a few races so far in a stock car, had a lot of success there. And last summer, I sold my stock car and was racing my dad's car for a while. I was approached by some of the board members and asked if I'd be interested in possibly taking over the race director position for this year because the current race director was leaving. And I've expressed myself to them prior to that about how I'd like to get involved on the other side of racing and making money instead of spending money as far as, promoting and which the race director isn't really more of a promoter. It's more of a on-the-call or on-the-track calls and different things like that. And I interviewed with them in January and expressed some of the opinions I had on the racetrack and what we could do to make it better and what I'd bring to the plate besides my racing experience and what I thought needed to change to make it a better track and a better facility and attract more racers to it. And one thing that I held over other applicants is that I have a lot of racing experience, and I'm pretty much good friends with everybody that races at Harlan, and I'm a local racer. I come from the community. I mean, everybody knows who I am. And as far as my peer support and everything I've been receiving after they've heard about my decision to become a race director and get out of racing, it's been nothing but positive, and I'm really excited about it, and I look forward to what this summer and the season has to bring.
What is in store for the fans at Shelby County this year at Harlan?
Any fan that's ever been to Shelby County Speedway and watched a race, or any racer that's ever been there, knows that the competition at Shelby County Speedway is some of the best in the nation. And just recalling, in the last 5-6 years, as long as I can remember at racing, we've had a national champion in IMCA come out of Shelby County Speedway just about every year, whether it's hobby stock with Shannon Anderson, Smith Brothers. You had, this year, your stock car national champion wasn't from there, but prior to that, you had Jeff Anderson who races there weekly. I believe Donovan Smith, when he won it, I think he won a stock car national championship. He was racing there weekly. And even your modified, national champions, your front runners usually hit Harlan a couple times a year if they're not from there originally. That's their weekly track. So our competition is second to none. Along with door-to-door racing, there's more photo finishes at Harlan, Shelby County Speedway than you see at a lot of tracks. So it's hard to run away from the pack. There's a lot of very, very good competition.
Now I know that. Personally, I know that my family owns a racetrack here. Have you talked to any of the race directors to think about exactly what you might go through as a race director there? Anybody going to be – I mean, you said you're friends with a lot of the racers and you've raced for a long time, but a lot of guys have been race directors, have been that. I mean, have you thought about the effects or something? I mean, your best friend might be coming after you this year. I mean, have you thought about that? Have you talked to anybody?
Yeah, I have. I've talked to a lot of people. I talked to the board. I mean, I've talked one of the promoters of quite a few racetracks from the area, Toby Cruz, I talk to quite often, and he gave me some insight on what to expect. And on being on the other side of it, I've seen a lot of the bull crap that the race director deals with because he's the one who takes all the blame for any bad decisions or any bad calls or anything that takes place on the track. And I understood that, and I'm looking forward to that because one thing I have a double major from Iowa State University in criminal justice and sociology, which deals with the whole major deals with how to deal with people and how to interpret people and, calm them down. And from a criminal justice degree, I've learned a lot on personal communication levels and stuff and how to bring people down from, a heated and upset stage, bring them back down to your level, talk with them reasonably.
Kenny, are you trying to tell us that dirt track drivers could be a little difficult to deal with at times?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I've been there, too, and I've been the guy on the other end yelling at the race director for a call, but... If you can calm a person down, have them step back and look at the situation. Hey, I'm up here making the calls. The guy in the corner was the one who made that call. And I support that decision. And what a lot of racers don't understand is what happens on a racetrack. You usually don't have any control over. mean, whether that guy gets flat job or gets put in the wall or whatever, you never know. The next week, you might turn around and it's going to be your fault, or you're going to be in that same situation and you couldn't control it, or you couldn't stop it or prevent it. And then who's the bad guy there? It's a lot of reasoning and understanding you got to have. And both my dad and my brother are planning on racing me this year too. And that's probably going to be my biggest conflict, is telling those guys that they messed up. So I'm going to have them in my face more than anybody. For the most part, a lot of my friends in racing I've talked to, I mean, they're going to be upset and have some understanding, but I don't think I'm going to lose any friends over the deal, because I do have an ability to talk to just about anybody, and reason with them.
When I've gone to Harlan before to either race myself in the sport mods or just go out there to watch, you're absolutely correct, Kenny. You have some of the very best of the best in the nation with the modified champions, the stock car champions. I mean, you got Jesse Sabe in the sport mods, Mike Nichols in the stock cars, Jeff Anderson in the mods. I mean, the list just goes on and on. But with that being said, what all classes does Shelby County race, every Saturday night?
Shelby County Speedway is strictly IMCA sanctioned track as far as weekly racing, and they race sport compacts, IMCA hobby stocks, sport mods, stock cars, late models, and modifieds.
Okay.
And they do have a couple specials throughout the summer where they're bringing the GOTRA cars, the old school cars, and they do have a SMLR late model race scheduled for the first weekend in September.
Now, you mean that was the Gotcha series, you mean, correct? That's the old-time cars you meant? Okay, yes. I know that those guys go around a lot of the Midwest, but, I mean, if you don't know Dan as well, this is kind of like the older cars, the 53s, 60s, all them kind of cars.
Those things are cool.
I mean, they're pretty fun to watch. And being around Shelby County Speedway, I've been there a few times. I think they're going to have a pretty good show in there. Just like you said, a lot of photo finishes at that track, a lot of photo finishes there.
Oh, absolutely. One of my favorite things that I look forward to every year at Shelby County, Andrew, is actually that GOTRA race, that GOTRA race. And some of the cars, I mean, we're bringing back nostalgia from the 40s and, like you said, the 50s. And, I mean, some of those cars, to me, they're not race cars. They're works of art on four wheels. And these guys just put on a heck of a show for the fans and drivers and everybody in attendance at Shelby County.
We're talking tonight with Kenny Hansen, the new race director for Shelby County Speedway here on the Front Stretch, AM 590 Omaha's ESPN Radio. Kenny, can you talk to us a little bit about what the ticket prices are going to be like for the 2012 season at Shelby County?
The ticket prices are going to be the same as they have been in the last couple of years. Pit pass will run you $22, and the grandstand, adults is $10, students, which is 11 to 18, is $6. And kids 10 and under are free with a paid adult. They also have you can buy a 10-punch pit pass for $200, save you $2 a ticket. And I think they have a punch pass for the grandstands too that they sell.
How about some history here at Shelby County Speedway? I know that the Tiny Lund runs there every single year, correct, bud?
Oh, yeah. The Tiny Lund is fun.
Are you going to be ready for that one, Kenny?
The Tiny Lund is kind of, if anybody's ever been to the IMCA Super Nationals, it's a week-long, basically just giant party. I mean, every race car driver that races IMCA you could think of is usually there, and you party all week long, and you forget you even raced by the time the week's over with. And the Tiny Lund Memorial Race is kind of a mini Super Nationals, you could say. They have qualifying on Friday night, and everybody parties after that, and then you race on Saturday, and it's just a good time. And as far as history of the Tiny Lund, for those who don't know, Tiny Lund was the 1963 Daytona 500 winner, and Shelby County Speedway is his home track. That's how they got the Tiny Lund Memorial, is after a local racer making it big in NASCAR.
Yeah, but if I remember right, Kenny, I don't think Tiny Lund is the only big name from NASCAR to come out of Shelby County's dirt ovals. I mean, I know Andrew, your grandfather Bob Kaziski, he's a NASCAR legend, ran in the Daytona 500.
Yeah, Burdick.
Bud Burdick. The list, we could sit here for another hour and just go on and on. I mean, there's so much rich history at Shelby County. It's just a mainstay and staple of the national racing scene. Now, the one thing that you did hit on, Kenny, are the specials in 2012. Why don't you give us a little insight as to what's coming down the pipeline for Shelby County this year with these specials? They
have 21 races scheduled this year at Shelby County Speedway. Opening night is going to be April 28th on Saturday night. And they have weekly racing pretty much. June 2nd, they have the Hobby Stock King of the Hill. They have Stock Car King of the Hill the end of June. The GOTRA or GOTRA Coops, that's on July 7th. They have the Charlie Luck Memorial Race, which is Shelby County Fair Night, on July 14th. Sport My King of the Hill, which we always like to see Buddy Ray at, and maybe he can pull off a win there July 21st.
Negative.
You can always hope and dream, right?
Yeah, you had to throw me under the bus, Andrew.
He called it out.
In case you haven't noticed, we also, on the front stretch, enjoy throwing Bud under the bus quite a bit.
Oh, we can make that work.
Everybody in the dirt track community seems to have a good Buddy Ray story.
It's not as good as a Mike Brown backwards at the races story, but
No, that will go down in history.
There's still time.
Yeah,
Let's not count anything out. There's still time. Again, talking with Kenny Hansen, the race director for Shelby County Speedway, here on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting. Kenny, where is a website, telephone, information they can get a hold of you and get some information about Shelby County Speedway?
you can go to www.racescs.com. You can find info on track facts, history, schedule, race results, point standings, ticket info, all the staff members. If you want to call up anybody and let them know what you think, their sponsor info and personal phone numbers and stuff like that on there on the contact us page.
Is there specials on there, listed on there, so they can find what specials for certain weekends?
Yes, the schedule's on there, and the schedule lists all the week by week who's a sponsor. Like on May 19th, there's a Schools Out special with nickel toss for kids, and they have like the Dwight Rick Memorial listed on there. It's August 4th. And that usually, if you win the Dwight Rick Memorial, it usually comes with a provisional on the Tiny Lund. And the Tiny Lund is scheduled for September 14th and 15th this year.
Okay, so racescs.com is your guys' website. And Kenny, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you joining us on the front stretch. And have a great season.
Thank you, guys. Hope to see you out there.
Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kenny.
And again, that was Kenny Hansen, race director for Shelby County Speedway. Website, again, racescs.com. We'll be right back after this on the front stretch. It's AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.